Okay guys, so once you've downloaded the files from justcheckit.com/downloads, you can go onto the desktop here and you'll find the Instagram tag project files. It comes with the practice footage there. It also comes with the Instagram logo that we can use to make our own Instagram tag. And then it comes with the Instagram tag that I've been using for all of my tutorials and videos that you guys have seen lately. Let's go into Photoshop. And this is what we're going to be recreating right here. So if we go up to File, New, or Control N, I'm just going to make it the 4K file size because we're just going to be cropping this down anyway. I wouldn't recommend going below anything under 1000 by 1000 pixels just so we can get a very high quality Photoshop file. Here at Just Check It, we're all about that quality, baby. Okay, so starting with 4K here, then hit Create. Now when you have this empty background here, we're going to go click on that background to unlock it, and then we're going to go down to the shape tool down here, or you can hit U, but I'm going to click and hold it and then go down to rounded rectangle tool. Then we're going to go up to the settings here. Make sure the fill is whatever color you want the button to be. I like to choose either black or a very dark gray around this area, 20-20-20. You want the hex value. Then stroke, you can keep it at 1 or just make it 0 pixels. It really doesn't matter. But what does matter is the radius. We want it at 20, but I mean, you guys can make the radius as large or as small as you would like. And then if we just click and drag and then get it to about a size that we like, you just let go and it'll automatically be filled. And this is the time that you can take Controller Command Z, change up the radius if you want it. If you want it at 30 or 300, whatever you would like. You can just do whatever you want. So just to make this one different, I'm going to do it at 30 pixels this time. To center this, we're going to go down to the layer 0 here. Then we're going to switch to our move tool by hitting V. Then we're going to hit Control or Command A, which will select the entire background here. Then we're going to select the rounded rectangle, go up to this top bar here, and you'll see these buttons. You want to click the center one here and the center one here, and that will perfectly center it. Then if we hit Control or Command D, that will deselect everything. The next thing we want to do is go down to the shape tool once again, click and hold on it, and then go down to the custom shape tool. The only thing we're going to want to change is the shape up here. Click and hold, and then go down to this arrow. Go to the middle. It doesn't have to be perfect. Click, hold, and select Alt and Shift. And that will make this arrow as large or as small as we want. I'm going to make it right about here. Let go. None of this has to be perfect, by the way, you guys. And now, if we swap to the move tool, we can grab the shape, move it up, hit Controller Command T, rotate it while holding Shift, and make it perfect. Drag it to where we kind of want to eyeball it there, and then hit the check mark. If you want to center it, you can do the same thing. Once again, select the bottom layer, hit Controller Command A, and go up to the center button here, not this one, and that will center it perfectly. But we did it by eye and it looked perfect. So Controller Command D, deselect it, and boom. Now we want to go grab the Instagram picture that we had before. So go down to where you saved it, grab the Insta picture that I provided, or you can use whatever you want. Hit the check mark, drag it over while holding Shift. I'm just going to size this up while holding Alt, and then swap to the move tool by hitting V, and then using the arrow keys, I'm going to just, actually that's going way too slow. I'm going to just move it over. Now if we hit T, we can bring up the text tool, and we're just going to type in whatever your Instagram handle is. Now, instead of sizing up the font here, we're going to just deselect, hit Control or Command T, while clicking and dragging on the corner, hold Alt, and just make it the size that you want. And actually, mine is actually 5Es. Move it to where you want, and boom, that's already looking amazing. If we select Shape 1 and hold Shift and then select the rounded rectangle at the same time, then click and drag down to this little clear document here, that will create a copy of both of those layers. And then if we do that one more time, we'll have 3 copies. Now if we click and drag the first set of copies into this filled file, this is the create a new group icon. So we'll drag that and that'll be group 1. Select both of these, click and drag down to the group, and then do it for the last one as well. Now we'll have 3 groups. Now this top group, we'll just call this, it doesn't matter. I think I called it center, right? And we'll call the last group left. Center is already done, so let's click the eyeball to hide that layer. Now let's select the right layer here, select the shape tool, click and drag while holding Shift, and we'll just go to the edge here. Then we'll hit Controller Command T, rotate it while holding Shift, then drag down, and it will lock into place exactly where you want it. Hit the check mark, and this is where you can make any final adjustments. I'm going to just use the Move tool and just move my arrow keys over to right about there. That looks really good. And now the right side is done. Now let's do the left. Okay, so now that that part's over, we need to save this to where we can open it into any Adobe program and have it recognize that it's a multi-layered project. That way we never have to make any adjustments on the fly. It's literally just turning off any layers we don't want. If we hit Controller Command Shift S, we can save this file as, and let's go to Instagram tag. I already have this Instagram tag, so I'm just gonna go Instagram tag II for 2, okay. And now I can actually exit out of Photoshop because we're done with it. So now let's move on to making a project inside of Premiere that we can link with After Effects. So if we bring up Adobe Premiere here, with Adobe Premiere open, we're gonna select the footage that we want, which is Instagram tag files. Here's my Insta Eli practice that you guys can grab as well. Now if we drag and drop over to the right here, and that will automatically use the settings of whatever we dragged into the timeline as the sequence settings. So we now have a 4K sequence automatically. It's pretty awesome. It's super easy to link this with After Effects. All we're going to do is I'm going to zoom in using A, then I'm going to right click the footage here and go replace with After Effects composition. This will automatically open up After Effects and create a new composition that is automatically linked within Adobe Premiere. It's super simple and elegant and amazing. This is exactly why I love the Adobe programs. They all work together seamlessly. Okay, so it's asking us to create a new project for this file here. So normally what I do is I go to wherever I'm editing, like the Instagram tag projects here, and I just name it intro portion. That just keeps everything organized, so if I ever need to go back and make slight edits, it's as simple as opening up this project and it'll automatically update within Premiere as well in real time. Now we're gonna do some tracking. Honestly, the 3D tracker doesn't work nearly as well or nearly as efficient when it comes to this kind of effect. So as someone that's used After Effects for a very long time, my recommendation is to use the 2D tracker, but feel free to use whichever one you see fit. We're gonna right click in this blank canvas area down here, go to New, Null Object, select the Insta Eli practice. And this is good because this doesn't have what I'm looking for over here. We need the tracking window down here. So go up to Window and make sure that the tracker is selected. Go Track Motion, size up like that. You need to find a place that has enough contrasting to make it easy for the tracker to follow. And where that usually happens with me is because I have this white tan skin and then really dark brown eyebrows, I always track my eyebrows. But that tracking point can be anything. I've used my nose in the past, I've used my eyeball itself, I've used my ear. Just make sure that it's high contrast. So I know that I don't move my eyebrow too much. So there we go, very high contrast. Now just size up the box and make it how you want it to be. The larger you make this tracking area, the longer it will take to automatically track the footage. But that also means it'll have a higher chance of not messing up. So it's kind of a give and take situation. But once you have the tracker at a point that you like it, just hit this Analyze Forward button and it will automatically start tracking that footage for you. Now what we do is we hit Edit Target and just make sure that that null layer is selected. Hit OK, then hit Apply. This is very important. You need to apply that tracking data to the null object. Now, if you scroll through, you'll see that the null object is actually stuck to my eyebrow. So the next thing we need to do is grab the Instagram file that we just made. So double click in this blank canvas area, go to where you saved that file. Then there's Instagram tag 2. I'm going to use my first Instagram tag, import. We're going to go to import kind and select composition. Then hit OK. Now as a composition, we can drag and drop it on top of whatever layers we have here. Then if we double click the Instagram tag, you'll notice this is our exact Photoshop file that we had just created. So if we deselect whatever tag we don't want and then change it to the right, this is where we want to track it to. Boom, it's automatically updated, and then holding Shift and Alt and size her up. Good. Here's the important part. Hit this pick whip here and then drag and drop it onto the null object. See how it's tracked now? If we go to here, we don't want it to be that far out. So right about there. Now if we go to the transform layer, this button underneath the 3D box, that'll give us even more options to edit. And I always edit the orientation. I changed this to slightly tilted either way, looks good. And then the middle one, I tilt it slightly forward towards the viewer, and it just adds a little bit more sense of realism. And then if we want to move this from now on, since it's 3D, you need to grab it on the Y and the X axis. You can't move it just straight up anymore, or else it'll mess up the 3D effect. Now the last part that we want to mess with is select this bouncing ball here. That'll make motion blur turned on, and we also need to turn it on in the preview window. So right about here is where we want the Instagram tag to pop up. So if we click and drag this composition over to the right, that'll trim the layer. And then if we hit zero,
well, here's the quick little test for the Instagram tag.
Now if we go back into Premiere, you have the timeline selected, then hit enter. It'll pre-render the file, and then we can check out what we just made.
Okay, well, here's the quick little test for the Instagram tag. I'm gonna make it pop up, stay for a little bit, and then go away.
But there's one last thing that we need to do. We need to make the pop-up noise. And what you could do here is just record your own voice, or you need something to really sell the effect of these images popping up, or else it just doesn't look right. Okay, that's perfect right there. So I'm gonna hit C to trim it and just grab exactly what I want. X to delete it, D to ripple delete there. Grab this file here, we drag this over. I'm gonna edit this audio real quick so you guys can see. I'm gonna go to audio here,
here's the quick.
There we go, that's louder. Okay, so now we can hear it a little bit better.
Okay, well, here's the quick little test for the Instagram tag. I'm gonna make it pop up, stay for a little bit.
Boom. And with that, you're all done. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. If you enjoyed the tutorial, make sure to smack that like button and fondle that notification bell if that's what you're into. After subscribing, of course, because every week I make a new tutorial. Make sure to leave a comment, because on the next tutorial, I'll leave all my favorite comments at the end of the video. But with that, guys, I don't want to waste any more of your time. I will see you guys in the next tutorial. Peace!